Sean. Hey, that looks good.
There we go.
Okay.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Okay. Oh, we were recording that entire time.
No.
Oh, just take it from the top, I guess.
I guess so. All right, man. You ready? You ready? You ready? We're just going to go right in.
I'm ready to go.
Hi, guys. Welcome to the 6th episode of the Talkaholic podcast. No, I'm not your host, but we're doing the intro today, I guess, right? How are we gonna? I guess so. Mike Dywan, alongside me is our gracious host. Doesn't need much of an introduction.
The one, the only.
One and the only, hopefully, Roman Garcia.
Well, let's give it up for Mike.
Yeah, man. Let's go. Let's go. Thanks for having me.
Of course, dude. We've been planning this for a while. We said we got to get Mike on the podcast. Here he is. Just kidding, Mike. That's not really how we ended up here.
No,
how did we end up here?
Well, you called me probably 6 o'clock, I think, and you're like, Mike,
6:45.
Mike, your time is now, and my eyes lit up. I took a shower, everything, got ready to go. My big break, right?
You look good.
No, I rolled right out of bed. I was ready to roll.
Does your hair stays that sharp while you're in bed?
Dude, I got a haircut. Yeah, a little something back here. A little water, does the trick. But yeah, he called me probably 2 hours from the time we're recording this, and
it was your idea, though.
Figuring out a time, right? And we're like, dude, let's hammer this out tonight, man. Let's get to it.
I liked it a lot. I was on my way to gym, and I was like, no, we're making a fucking turn. We're gonna go see Mike Dywan right here.
Let's get to it, man.
Let's get to it. Now, I gotta say, because we were touching on it earlier briefly, but you have some of the nicest hair I've seen on a white guy in quite some time, dude. Do you appreciate your hair for what it's worth? Because you can get away with cutting it all the way off, and you've had many hairstyles, and I appreciate that because not a lot of people do that.
You got to try and see kind of what sticks, right? Everyone goes through the buzz cut phase. You and I both know. I think it's all genetics, man. Like my grandpa, great set of hair. So it's like if you got that going for you, you're kind of in the green. But yeah, trial and error. I also have my grandma and my mom are complete critiques of my hair sometimes, and they tell you hey, it's time for a haircut. I go, fuck, let's go get a haircut. So a lot of different styles you kind of had to try over time.
My sisters and my mom echo very much the same thing. They'll be like, I'll be talking about completely something else, and they'll be like, but you know what it is time for? It's time for you to get a haircut. And I'm like, bro, I was like, let me do my own thing. You know what I mean?
Dude, and in your case, right? The couple sisters, right? You're basically a Barbie doll at that point.
Yeah,
you're kind of like the Ken doll, I guess we could say.
Well, yeah,
of the family, right?
It does have. I'm not gonna act like it's completely terrible. My sisters, at the very least, I say, taught me to have some sense of care about what I dress like, and obviously hygiene and that stuff. You would like to think that's common sense,
right?
But a lot of times that's not very common, Mike.
It's crazy.
Hygiene is not very common in this country. I don't know.
Just some deodorant wouldn't hurt, right? I mean, the bare minimum.
Here's my thing. My thing is when I'm in the bathroom and someone just beelines past washing the hands and goes straight out.
At least put some water on it.
Are you doing
something.
it? Yeah, you're doing that.
At least put some water on it.
Mike's doing that. I saw this. You licked your lips. You licked your lips.
I'm not beelining out of. That is crazy. That is crazy. That's crazy activity. Nah, bro. Nah, I washed my hands kind of before I got here. I'm not beelining it, bro. That's crazy. That's crazy. Cut that.
No, I can't.
Dude. Cut that. No,
you live by this sword.
No, dude. We're not doing all that, man.
Okay.
Did I lick my lips, dude? Did I?
You licked your lips.
Shit, man. I'm cooked.
It's okay.
We're cooked.
Hey, we all have our flaws, you know what I mean?
Hey, can't bat 1,000, right? Can't be perfect.
I can't swim. I'll say that.
There you go,
right?
right?
On my chest. At this point, now it's like, I won't say a badge of honor. It's honestly a badge of shame. I see some people who swim, and I'm like, why can they do that and not myself?
Well, can you float? A little bit of... Did water freak you out, or bad experience?
No, I never had I feel like there's a time in my life where I like being in the water whenever I go.
Right.
I like when I'm in the beach. I'm never the type to just sit on the beach the whole time. I'll go in the water. I just don't think I trust myself enough to really push it. I don't know.
Huh.
And then you do that for long enough, you're not, exercising that sort of.
Gym class didn't pay attention to the lesson, or fuck that.
No,
yeah, all those fantastic Munster High School gym teachers that we had.
No.
That was just screw that lesson. Swimming sat out for that one.
Well, I took it during the summer.
That's easy. That's easy work, right?
You take
yeah, you're good. You could skip a lesson or two.
You just got to put your foot in the water. The girls really had it easy. They had plenty of excuses as to why they didn't have to swim, and I was always like, come on.
Right, forgot their swimsuit, forgot their towel, right? It happens every other day. How the hell does that happen?
I don't know, dude.
Crazy.
But let me tell you, Mike. Why would I have somebody like you? Why would I trust you to be the first person in my podcast history to do my intro for me?
I don't know, man. That's a good question. Maybe my background, I guess, in the sports media field, or you just maybe feel bad for me. I don't know what this is, but hey, we'll take it. But it's an honor. It's an honor to say
it is. You really are the first. I'm thinking about it.
The Bruce Buffer of the Talkaholic podcast, if you will.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. No, yeah. And now that I think about it, it's kind of crazy. I think I have done like all the intros of the podcast episodes that I've done. Not that my career is very extensive, right?
Yeah, we got a long way to go, man. Long way to go.
Oh my God! I was looking at Theo Von's number, and I forgot who he had on. Maybe like David Spade on the other day. Dude, it was like episode number 581. I didn't think about it.
Joe Rogan's podcast, right? They're in the thousands, right?
You just do enough.
Just getting started.
They add up, right? Like I did 50. Me and PJ, we did 50.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we did 50. There's a lot of content. So a lot of content out there for you guys.
Split Decision podcast, by the way. Be sure to tune in.
Split Decision podcast. Hey, time's ticking. You never know.
That's right.
What's like when Pippen put the shoe up to Jordan?
Exactly.
You know who I'm talking to.
That's true, man.
But getting back to what we were saying earlier about Mr. Region Sports Network, the director, Mr. Director. Correct?
Yeah, sports director. Yeah, I've been up there for what is it? 2.5 years now. I mean, it's crazy how all things kind of started up there. A lot of kind of puzzle pieces aligned, some pieces in front of me. Took other jobs, and I've kind of moved my way up there. Kind of a perfect storm. And it's fun to kind of give back, that job, obviously. We're locally covering high school sports, other events going on, and to kind of give back, obviously, to those athletes as well as, again, seeing, like, the parents and how ecstatic they are that they could, watch their kid play, or these grandparents that are in Florida or something, watching their grandkids play. Oh, that's the cool part about it, at least, for sure.
So yeah. So you grew up. You were Munster High School's. I would say, in my own personal opinion, I would say you were Munster High School's most important football player, if not their best football player. Usually the two are one and the same. But that being said, you mentioned like being able to see the parents and the fans, obviously, like be happy for what their kids are doing on the field. Do you, even though obviously you don't got any kids out there, maybe I don't know if you have any other sort of family or something like that, but do you also kind of get drawn into that? Do you, like having that you had been a player, you kind of know what it feels like when they're in the fourth quarter of a game and it's a one score game, that sort of thing?
A little bit. Like it definitely helps like with football, but obviously like in something like this, if it doesn't call for it, like I don't want to try and hey, let me put all of my experiences, let me overshadow what this kid's doing currently. Sure. You kind of got to meet that, healthy balance. And especially, I mean, I've even had to call games with like baseball and softball and basketball, sports that I've never played, a minute of some of those sports, at least, at any sort of level. But it's really all just about, you got some experience and you could at least maybe talk a good game. You experience sports, you've watched sports, you could know, what the rules, ins and outs of that stuff.
Always like,
sure, right? And competition alone, again, if you could at least talk a good game about that. But I think the stress is, put it on the kids, obviously. At high school, it's, as some people may look at it differently, high school sports is, it might be very minuscule, but it's a big time. I mean, high school sports,
sure.
it teaches you a lot.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a lot of life lessons no matter what sport you play. And just to, work with one another, work with people, it's big. And that's what team sports all about.
No, you make a great point. I mean, literally, even on my last episode, I said one of the most important things that happened to me was when I got cut from the freshman soccer team, right? Seems minuscule, like you said. I mean, in retrospect, okay, I didn't play 1 year of high school soccer. Right. But like I mentioned there, it kind of completely changed the way I kind of approached, practicing, training, that sort of thing, yada yada, right? But going back, you mentioned how you had to kind of like get yourself versed in all these sorts of sports. How is it that you kind of go about that? Because you do seem like, to me in my life, at least, you're like the sports guy to me. Like you know what, you have a good grasp of pretty much whatever's going on, WNBA, NBA, basketball, football. Even like Premier League, you're not like you know some teams and stuff.
Yeah,
you have the much higher average sports IQ than people. But how do you kind of fast track your way into learning about sports well enough that you can talk about it like on broadcast about these softball teams and volleyball and all these things that you didn't grow up playing?
It's crazy enough. It's maybe not a loser thing to say, but it's kind of teetering that. But dude, video games
Yeah,
has taught me so much.
Yeah.
Something, I mean, you and I are well versed with. I mean, him and I had some duels on UFC, just fighting each other. And it was kind of at a point when I kind of just got the game because you and PJ had it and you guys were having fun. And I'm like, what the hell? Let's have some fun. And then I forgot whose idea it was. Probably you. You wanted to kick my ass a few times. And I'm like, okay, exactly. And so I'm starting to learn some of these fighters. And then, I tune into your podcast. And now, usually every main card, we're kind of going out and watching some of these stuff.
And I love that. I really do love that.
For sure.
You're at the point now where you have a higher MMA IQ than a lot of MMA fans.
It's fun with that, right? And then like FIFA too. You and I played FIFA together, and again, I since I was a little kid, I played Madden, playing 2K. So basketball, obviously, the show, of course, MLB The Show, and I still, sports games is definitely one of my. It's my biggest genre by far, and it's crazy that even again, although your experience playing a video game is not similar to being out on the field, but it gives you a little bit of background, right?
Connection, right?
You learn the rules, you learn why things maybe happen.
Because I was thinking about that. I'm like, say you're picking a UFC fighter, you see this guy, this guy's like 4.5 stars, is grappling super high, blah, 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 and then you're like, next thing you know, you find yourself out one week and watching UFC, oh my god, that's so-and-so. I'm like, and you see him fucking, there he goes grappling, that sort of thing, right? Or at least like 4.5 stars, he must be pretty good. 3 stars, this guy's pretty shit. That sort of thing. Ratings are the same thing in FIFA. Right. So you see what teams are higher rated. These are pretty. Chelsea must be a good team. That sort of thing. Right. You make a very fair point. I did not think about that.
Just playing for forever. I've played video games. I mean, still do to the day since I was a little kid watching my dad play shoot 'em up games. And once I kind of was able to kind of hold my own with sports games. Then, I started with Madden, started with kind of those similar sports, easier to play. And then, like FIFA, UFC. Again, my, at least admiration for UFC probably started with, playing the game with you guys, which it's crazy to think about. Crazy. It kind of stems from that. It's obviously a sport that's a lot of people respect, but to kind of start to understand it, know the fighters, of course, as well, it's kind of a different level to it.
No, for sure. Especially, even learning the controls. You're like, okay, left hook.
I still button mash crazy. I'm still spraying and praying, man.
Dude, I don't know if you were throwing 1-1-2 shot to the body. Come on,
no, dude. I tried to play online. They had UFC 5. They had it free right now on PlayStation, and I tried to do the stand and bang method, or the game where there's no grappling, right? And you can't, shoot after you knock somebody down. You got to let them back up. And these guys are just throwing combos.
You play stand and bang? Yeah, they know how to do that.
I'm just hoping I catch you. In case of one, right? Some high kick. But these guys are throwing crazy kicks, and I'll go, oh, fuck this, man. Yeah, but no, man, it's crazy how, again, even gaming and stuff like that, some sort of another social media kind of side to it, a way to kind of engage with people. Yeah. I mean, we had some late nights playing some stupid ass games, whether that's FIFA or golf with friends or Gang Beasts or just a bunch of other just crazy COVID games as well, especially during those times.
I don't know about you, but I mean, I felt like those times were so thrilling because I was not supposed to be up at 2 a.m. playing.
It was
with
bad.
You guys.
It was bad.
Especially during COVID, it was bad.
Yeah, and you had class the next day, those early stages of COVID when we're still in high school.
You weren't doing anything.
No, going to bed at 2, waking up at 8, or not 8, logging on because there wasn't any set hours.
Yeah, man, I used to get ripped apart.
That was 5 years ago. 5 years ago.
You lived, or I don't know if your house. Did your parents ever complain to you about not complain, rightfully so, but too, but did they ever bitch you out for being up late or making noise late?
No.
Where was your positioning? What was your
now the thing is, I gave my parents a lot of help. So the way my house works, or it did work, my mom and dad sleep. They sleep on separate levels. Mm-hmm. My dad snores like a freaking. He saws logs. He's got sleep apnea or whatever. Exactly. Yeah. So he's got one of those machines or whatever. So my mom and dad couldn't even sleep together. So my dad was downstairs. We had 3 rooms upstairs. My mom, myself, and my sister. I was basically kind of in this corner. Mm-hmm. My mom was here. I was in the middle. My sister was, in this corner. And just some late nights, middle school days. Mm. And when you're up late and, I'm a kind of a loud talker. My voice carries. Our walls are thin. By sophomore year of high school, I got pushed down to the basement. Yeah. So, I didn't really I didn't have mom knocking on the door too much. So I got blessed with that. But yeah, that fucking rough time, man. I mean, to think about, again, 5 years ago, it's just like, to think how that world was. You know, it's.
I loved it. That was great.
It was nice. It was
basically like, I remember, first few weeks of COVID.
Especially not having anything on your plate.
Yeah,
dude.
I mean, you're doing online class. Teachers don't even know how online class is supposed to work at that point, right? So then we're dealing with that. They're like, we're basically watching like YouTube and like submitting.
It was crazy. Discussion posts.
Yeah,
right?
and stuff. And stuff I could just talk to other people. Just ask anybody.
It was awesome.
For anything.
It was awesome.
And then I'd be outside all day. You guys would come over.
Sure.
I remember you guys were coming over, and we were supposed to be on lockdown.
Yeah, right. I know we had like car meetups. I think that was a big thing.
We played card. We played a lot of games in my basement. Yeah.
Yeah, your basement was a hot spot. Just like you brought up like actual games, too, board games, which is awesome.
Stuff to do, right?
Awesome,
especially with the fellas when you have the fellas around.
Yeah, board games. Yeah, that's
lost art.
Lost art.
I mean, we're talking about video games. I mean, honestly, I find myself playing. Oh no, I don't know.
Card game, board games.
No, I'm not a big card game.
I got to learn some more because I know card games.
I'm lousy.
Like, did you ever get into Kemps? Kemps was obviously huge.
You bring back a memory, but I don't know too what. I've heard of Kemps. I'm familiar with. Was that in high school?
Was that
when I was here? Fucking people shouting, monkey, like.
There's like codes and everything, right? And it was a 2-man game basically versus we were a team, two other guys, and it'd be get after it after lunch, man.
I wasn't sitting at the cool person table.
What do you mean?
Me and Nick.
I'm pretty sure you were kicking my ass at the cool person table. Yeah,
me and Nick were sitting.
You and Nick, man, you two. Oh my god.
No, I'm just kidding about
you too.
But I never played card games like that.
Yeah, Kemps was okay, but I got to learn some more. But board games.
You ever play Catan?
No clue what that is.
Oh my god.
I don't really know much. Like Gin Rummy, I think I played once or twice, but I could use a refresher.
What about
what's it called? Bullshit. That's a good one.
Bullshit's a good one. That one's easy. I like that.
I like the ones with no skill, just luck. Just give me some luck.
Are you lying or not?
Exactly.
That sort of thing. I like that.
I'm not a poker player.
Yeah, when I gotta start counting, I gotta start doing probability in my head.
I'm good. Good.
I might sound like a POS for saying
something
I'm
good,
like that,
man.
but I'm like, bro, that we're playing a game.
Right,
I like strategy games though. I do like strategy games. But don't so Catan's a strategy game. It's almost like what's that? War? Is that called War?
I know it's a card game. Yeah, we're washed, right? We gotta study up after this, man.
Let me tell you something.
Summer's around the corner. Get some card games going. Bring it back, man.
I was like, what is this? I thought we were cutting to an Old Navy commercial. I was like, what is this?
Oh, nice, good one. You would know about commercials, man. Stop playing.
We don't want to talk about
commercial star, man.
Same.
You were Sears, or that's your Old Navy?
It was Sears.
We got to pull that video up, overlay that on top of this, man.
You think I won't do that right? No, I really, man. When I do shit like that, that means I actually have to go.
Now you got to write that down. You got to get the timestamp. What do we got? 21 minutes in. Get the Sears commercial rolling.
I was in a Sears commercial.
I know you got that saved.
When I was a freshman. It's like one of the first things in my camera roll. Really, it's not going to be that. No, I'll throw that in.
You got a nice check for that too, right? So
more check than a 14. I think I was 14 turning 15 that year. More than I knew what to do with, and I spent it unwisely. I think I got it. Well, in retrospect, I mean, it was like a 3 hour. I was 3 hours. I was there, maybe 4 hours. And I got paid like $500 with taxes.
That ain't bad, man. That ain't bad.
400 something. You know what I spent it on though? Because I thought I was going to be ahead of the curve and I wanted to be different.
I feel like you said this. But
yeah. Oh my god.
Can I guess what a?
It's a piece of technology.
Ahead of the curve. Is some sort of headphones or earbuds or?
I had a miscalculation of where the market was going.
Oh god, you lost me with that one. Music playing device or something?
No, I mean, it could play. Yeah. It was a phone. I bought a Samsung.
Okay.
I bought a Samsung Galaxy 8 to be exact. I did my fair share of research, and I thought, oh my god, this is the thing.
This is the future.
This is what I need, and I got it. Took a picture. Immediately regretted my decision. Immediately.
So god, man, just pixels galore.
I was stuck with that bad boy for a little bit, you know.
Everyone starts somewhere. Samsung usually, right?
My first phone was a Nokia.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but it was a touchscreen though. I remember super old. What was yours?
God, I think I had a Samsung might have been a hand-me-down, too. It was... And then I lost it. I think this was probably 7th, 8th grade year, maybe. I think I had a phone, which is, God, I'm thinking about that now. Giving a kid a phone nowadays, it's like, what age would you do that to? I don't know, man.
Well, they just put an
iPad in front of you when you come out the womb nowadays. So it's
it's actually disturbing. It really is. And I mean, I have
when kids are at the dinner table and they're just freaking.
I mean, try to hold a. Do me a favor.
Brutal.
Try to hold a conversation with any child under the age of 12.
Brutal.
It's terrible. I mean, like they look at you for like 2 seconds and I was talking to an unnamed child the other day, and I'm like trying to talk to him. Every time I try to talk to him, he's like one word answers. Yeah. Turn. No. Yeah. Well, I'm like
crazy.
Chit chat here.
Yeah.
It was good. I was like, okay.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
No, but it's not. Yeah, it is no good. Especially now with how the internet and I mean, obviously we grew up with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we grew up at a time where if you wanted to find some stuff online, you could go find it, right? But you had to go look for it. You know what I mean? Now, in today's world, it just pops up on your screen. The craziest stuff will pop up on your screen. I will be scrolling mindlessly, and all of a sudden I'll get something crazy. I'm like, in public.
Yeah.
It's always in public when you see some crazy.
Sure, of course, full volume.
But like the fact that now children are obviously susceptible to that because, I mean, yeah, you can have TikTok, and you could, as a parent, see their TikToks all, I don't know, what do they watch nowadays? Like,
what parents watch?
JoJo Siwa, and like, what are the kids
Yeah,
watch?
who knows? I think Siwa's long gone, but there's the toy shows. I think there's still little kids doing toy shows I saw.
Yeah, but it's just like...
But a bunch of brain rot. But yeah, no, it's not to sound like an old man yelling at a cloud, but it's like, what, man? Yeah, I don't know. It's scary. It's weird to be, again, now kind of this age where... Kids now,
Yeah,
but with technology, I mean, since COVID too. I mean, technology's different now.
Well, now we're really at the age where the kids growing up, being born now, just have, or within the last decade, basically have an entirely different experience than we had.
That's true.
I mean, we didn't have social. Yeah, I remember growing up and like my parents having MySpace and then Facebook, right? But to me, it wasn't even like I didn't know anything. I remember I thought it was a big deal to just have an email account, a Gmail, right? And now it's almost like growing up. It's like you can have TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat.
Right, you need a link tree.
YouTube. Yes,
everything.
exactly.
Right.
Like I'm guilty. Obviously, I'm guilty of it too.
Yeah,
I have all those things basically, right? But I mean, at least I got to grow up with it, right? To kind of see how it evolved. Like it wasn't just like handed it to me at like the age of 5.
Yeah,
all of it, all at once.
Hopefully my parents knew better, but yeah, it's I feel like growing up, I once I kind of realized what social media is, I'm like, okay, it's kind of cool. But then, again, my parents, and I'm sure yours are kind of the same way. But like, yeah, let's wait a year or two.
Yeah, no.
But now it's like, fuck it, let's give you an iPad, so we can shut you up for an hour.
I remember getting a phone. I think the first thing I had was an Instagram, and first post.
I feel that.
Yeah, 2013, 2014. I remember that's when I started posting. That's my first post on my Instagram was me at a Argentina versus Bama.
Nice. My Instagram, dude, I thought I was, and I got some good traction on it, but I thought it was hilarious. I basically I'd follow a bunch of funny accounts, all right? And if I see a good meme, screenshotting, posting it. Bro, I would post probably constantly 5-8 times a day.
So
and then I think
what age is this?
God. Oh,
I did not know this was happening.
Oh, yeah. I wiped that off the face of the earth, for sure.
Not known you
I think, I want to say
when did you decide?
Late elementary and even like middle school, obviously, and that's daunting when
we went gym class together in middle school, right? But you don't even remember.
I was in a lot of. I took electives every single fucking year, like a dumbass, right? Let me do some more gym, right? Not Spanish and get ahead of the curve or something, or yeah, pretty much, right? What year was that? Did we have gym together?
I don't know. We had, I think it was 7th grade, maybe 7th or 6th.
Yeah. Well, I thought about this too, and I presume you're going to ask this, but I don't really remember when we first kind of met each other a little bit. Like I want to say. A little bit in high school, I think freshman year is when we were because we had English together. I do remember that class. That was a fun class. I think.
I think that would be like the real. Like, cause
we had Tyler as well. We were in that class as well.
That was a loaded class.
Oh, for sure.
That was a loaded class.
But yeah, like it was kind of just something, I think just mutual friends one way or another. Didn't really, not see eye to eye, but just didn't really interact. And it didn't interact in middle school. And what, you came, 7th grade?
6th grade.
6th grade?
No one remembers that. No one remembers that. No, yeah.
Who knew what he would become, the host of Talkaholic?
I remember you.
Yeah, right.
You. That table.
That damn table.
That table. You never looked at me.
Oh,
No, I'm just kidding.
Stop it. Getting berated here tonight.
It is crazy, yeah. Because I can kind of think about like some of my other friends from school, and like I can remember like distinct days I started talking to them. But like, who knows what the hell we used to talk about, Mike? I honestly can't even remember what we talked about like 2 years ago.
Yeah, probably the same shit here tonight.
You know, you blink and then all of a sudden here we are.
Yeah, the time flies. That's for sure, right? As cliche as that shit is.
Oh, we had culinary. We were culinary.
That's true. That was senior year. That was a fun class. Yeah, that was a good. Yeah, I mean, we had classes, and again, I don't really know when. I think just kind of through high school, we became a little bit closer. Mm-hmm. I remember my first impressions of you. Again, you and Nick, you guys were like. Yeah. Beavis and Butthead. You guys were two jokesters, man. And again, I love both of you guys, but I remember I'm like, fuck, you guys are both in my lunch. I remember there was one time you guys were throwing. I remember this vividly. I was sitting across from you. I think you guys were throwing vegetables at me, or like peas or something, and I was pretty short tempered. A little bit more in high school than maybe I am now, but oh my god, I remember just like you fucking. And then I got to do it all again tomorrow. See these two idiots, right? Yeah, no. And both your guys' laughs together, just oh my god, nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah, it's like a duo of hyenas, basically.
Oh, dude, right? And you're just a prey, just sitting there. Yeah. What are you gonna do, right? I'm not gonna.
The thing is, we were like. Me and Nick, I think we were like in that same way where we would just poke, and as soon as like we get a little juice, we're like, what?
Crazy. What do we do, man? Take it easy. Take it easy, but no, man. But yeah, I guess it just kind of built up over time, I think, and then finally got some respect, some of your respect, I think, whenever that was. So, man, crazy. Well, now we're here.
Now we're here. I'll tell you, the respect starts with second place in the chili competition.
That's true. Should have been first. Yeah, culinary class was fucking awesome.
There was some bootlickers in that class.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
And when you have a chili cook-off contest we had, it was the first hour. So the judges. I think we had one guy come in. I want to say it was our school resource officer. Who's gonna have chili at 9 a.m. in the morning? You get one vote. You get one vote and you win. You're good, man. It's like what do you
You get one vote.
And that's
how do you even vote for second place?
Right. We were tied for last and didn't win. So no, we should have wrote that. We should have wrote that recipe down. I'm a sucker for chili, man.
Right?
We made a good bruschetta too. I remember.
I was using that bruschetta for the next.
That bruschetta was fantastic.
I stretched that out for a few holidays. I would be like, I'll do the appetizer. I'll do bruschetta.
Yeah, dude. No, bruschetta's gas.
Do you cook anything nowadays?
Dude, I need to learn a little bit. Again, God bless, in the situation we're both in now, kind of living under our parents' house. When you got, like my parents, they cook, and I definitely need to learn. I gotta master a dish or two. I like baking a little bit, but to consider myself a baker is can't do that now.
I didn't even know you had that sort of in your repertoire.
Oh yeah, man.
You got a little something?
Well, what makes you doesn't think that, man?
I've never seen a.
I want to be a grill master like every guy of this demographic.
I have to refine that skill as well, right? I mean,
some around the corner, right? So
right.
I need to learn how to probably start with chicken. You could do anything with chicken, you would know.
Easy,
right?
See, just
don't fuck it up.
Basically just make sure it's cooked all the way through.
Right.
You can charge, put some sauce.
There you go. Get some seasoning. I can get some seasoning.
Dude, it's easy. I was eating chicken right before this.
There you go.
What was I going to say? Being away at school, definitely, I had no choice but to learn how to cook by myself. There were some people who had the fortune, order food, constantly, or I didn't go there when there was a dining hall. Freshman year, because I was a student athlete at great school of Manchester
Yes,
University.
Sir.
I got to eat whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. Honestly, that being a small school, it made the food quality so much better because they actually were capable of cooking for that many people. It was only like 2,000 kids there. Mm-hmm. So and most of them student athletes.
Sure, you're not just throwing out food left and right, just trying to get it out.
You could go get a custom sandwich any day, any sort of teriyaki chicken bowl.
Yeah.
I don't know. They had tons of stuff, like great variety. God bless them.
Right.
Smoothie bar and stuff.
Oh wow! And they didn't have much around, like restaurants wise. It was pretty much a
Oh no! Me and my friends.
college just placed in the middle of God knows where.
I have a couple cornfields basically.
Yeah.
The closest place of like some sort of notoriety was Fort Wayne. So me and my friends, a lot of times we would drive like 30, 40 minutes to the IHOP in Fort Wayne, and that was how we would have fun. Especially being 18 years old.
Right.
We can't go to like a bar or anything like
Sure.
that. And also, I mean, I was friends with another Mexican dude, and then luckily a white dude as well. But, you know, when you're in the middle of Indiana, you don't want to just really go anywhere.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, it's that part of Indiana. I mean, I remember living out there. I didn't ever, luckily, ran into any problems or anything like that. But there was a few small towns, you drive out through there and you see some flags, and I'm like, I didn't know we were still repping that one.
Why is everybody wearing white, man? What are we doing? Where are we at?
Oh my God! There goes.
Yeah, it's
must be lice going around.
It's a big state, man. It's a big state somehow.
Some lice going around and a lot of shaved heads.
Man, it's for real, man. What are we doing? What are we doing?
But no. I mean, great. I had a great time out
Sure.
there. But basically, yeah.
It's a hell of an experience too, right?
Yeah.
A lot of perks for that.
I would say I am lucky. I am rich in experiences in terms of like where I've gone to school and like sort of the jobs I've worked. I worked a lot of really odd jobs throughout the years. My first job, well, technically, I started getting paid as a soccer referee before anything. But then after that, I worked at Dairy Queen with Nick. Right age of 16, started working. Worked at like Wicker Memorial. Worked at a jewelry store.
That's right.
Worked at a Fire Rocket Johnny Rockets. Worked at Johnny Rockets. Worked as a custodian for a school district.
Jesus. Some of these I didn't even
worked
know.
At a couple gyms.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of odd assignments here and there, right? So
that's crazy.
But like with all that, what I'm saying is basically I just got the chance to meet a lot of different people, a lot of different backgrounds.
I hear you.
Even just living out there, obviously in Manchester, totally different part of Indiana. I mean, we're in basically like the second most like diverse part of Indiana besides maybe like Indianapolis, right? So I mean, this was my idea of Indiana to me. Especially I moved from Illinois. And then just like going and experiencing like, oh my God, if you just drive basically 2 hours to the right,
it's crazy.
There's something much different going on.
Go south around 30,
now you see why we go red, right?
It's crazy, man.
Yeah,
it's two different states in a way.
It is weird. What about you? Would you ever think? Because you've been a full-time Hoosier, right? You've born.
Yeah, born and raised Monster. Yeah. What exactly? Do you think I've ever... What?
Like, do you think you'd ever want to... Would you want to stay in Indiana, or would you see yourself going elsewhere?
That's a good question. Unlike you, like my college experience, started at Lafayette for a semester, COVID time, and kind of it was just something where I'm like, I don't know if this is for me. A little bit of big college, man, eating like shit. Unlike you, Lafayette, I mean, you could DoorDash anything until 5 a.m., right? So it was eating like crap. And I'm, COVID, obviously. I wasn't a frat boy, so it's kind of tough to find a group, at least, to really kind of get running. So I'm like, let's go home. Let's recoup. Let's figure some things out. Started P&W, and experience there was good, and a different college experience, being local living, again, with living in your childhood home, that changes some things up. But I don't want to say you kind of get tired of living in the same spot, but, who knows? Never say never. It's nice familiarity being in the Chicago area. And you see a lot of people, living in Chicago nowadays, which, kind of what I'm doing. Yeah. That's kind of inevitable in terms of work. Obviously, that huge-ass market. But there's a lot to it. There's a lot to see. In the state, in this country, in this world. So never say never. And if something presents itself, why not, right?
And that's the thing. I guess I never really even talked to you about like your whole experience at Purdue Lafayette. I just remember hearing like, oh, Mike ended up going back. He's going to P&W, and I was like, I thought that's that. I can't even remember. Was that freshman?
That was freshman year. Yeah, I spent one semester.
Yeah, but the thing is, I too struggled. I know, like my friend Kyle, right? Yeah. Like he likewise transferred, and then so did Ava Sopsik, right?
Yeah.
They ended up regrouping to an even bigger school, IU, right? But I guess and then I transferred as well my freshman year. So, but basically, like I guess I stuck it out mostly because I was like a student athlete, that sort of thing. And I will say my experience in Manchester, I've touched on this, was not bad. It was just not for me. It was a small school in the middle of nowhere. I didn't really know many people. And I was kind of getting no playing time, so I was like, it is what it is. See you later, right? But for you, COVID and that like affecting especially the bigger schools, do you think that if you had gone to school in like, I don't know, 2 years later or 2 years earlier, right, without having to deal with any of that, do you think your experience might have been different a little bit?
I think so. A lot of things could have probably changed. The butterfly effect is crazy. You have one relationship, and maybe you're not inside a relationship. That could change a lot of things as well. There was a lot of factors that I'm like, screw it, let's come on back home. But let's say if one piece of the puzzle, didn't connect, a lot of things could have been different. And I, seeing how much fun and how much success guys come out of like schools like IU, schools like Purdue as well, and kind of get that healthy balance after COVID kind of settled down and kind of that first year really got under their belt. You kind of have FOMO a little bit, but you can't at this point you can't have regrets. Screw it, right? Of course, but it would have been interesting to say the least.
Yeah, and I think about it. I could think about it vice versa. The amount of money I would have saved purely just by living at home.
That was nice, right? Mooching off your parents for a few years.
Nice little income right now.
Yeah, but no regrets, man.
Absolutely.
And you loved IU, right? I know it was fun. Yeah, a lot of fun to go on down there. You and I both probably know. So
yeah, my sophomore year, I struggled a bit more because I went from having something to do every day with practicing twice a day or traveling and being on a bus, all that sort of thing. I was also on the Rocket League team.
Yep, dual sport athlete, man.
That's dual sport athlete.
It's impressive.
Right? And then all of a sudden, I have all this extra free time, and I have no responsibility to be in any sort of shape, right? So. And another thing, and I think about this all the time, is being, at least when you're in your first year, your freshman year out of school, you can live in the dorm and you're forced to meet people in the same situation as you. I lived off campus. I transferred as a sophomore, and I lived with two people I already knew. Yeah. Right? So it's I'm even more, and I lived far off campus that first year too. It's not even I could walk and study it at the middle of the school or anything. I was basically it was a 10, 12-minute drive from school.
Shout out our boy Jalen was picking us up. Shout out Jay Kanye, man.
Honestly, dude, Jalen,
you had to take a car everywhere. Man,
we became friends this summer going into it because he was transferring from PNW to go there, right?
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And I wasn't too sure about Jalen at first because we didn't talk in high school, that sort of thing. I don't know. I didn't really know who he even hung out with. I just know he never was in school. I know he was never in school.
Man, good dude.
Great dude, right? But then I just remember he started chit chatting with me one day, and I thought it was kind of be a hi bye sort of thing, and then he was like, "So you're going to? So you said you're going to Bloomington, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, blah blah."
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, now fast forward. Probably watch some Fantastic Four together.
Big summer for movies, right? Yeah. But shout out Jalen Clutch because again, you were so far off campus. Yeah. Shit, I remember. I think the once or twice, 2 times I was down there. He took us to and from places, that's for sure. So shout out Jalen.
It was very tough.
I hear you.
I had to get Ubers all the time, and I had to ask people for rides all the time. And I hate asking people, especially where I was. It's not even they could be well, at least it's on the way to blah, blah, blah. No, I was so far
Bloomington's massive, man.
It's massive, and the thing is, a 10-minute drive in Bloomington equates to a 30-minute drive out here. I don't know if that makes sense, but basically, in Bloomington, everything is so walkable usually. Yeah. Really what gives you the hassle is the stop, go, waiting for students to pass around and all these buses and everything else.
Crazy.
There's a lot of one-ways and just there's a lot of stop, go. A lot of walking traffic, that sort of thing.
Avoid some drunk people out there, right? People just running in front of the street, for the hell of it.
I would see
it's crazy.
You would see some of the worst driving of your life now.
That's one thing, if I had to say that not going to a big school, and again, I don't want to disrespect anybody who took that route, but in terms of what you do in your free time, Bloomington, you're paying for, let's say, you got a Friday night, weekend coming up, whatever. Big game on Saturday, football's playing, all right? So Friday night, we got to go out, all right? Let's say you're living where you were in your sophomore year. We got to pay for 2 Ubers. So that's that. That adds up to, who knows, $30. Yeah. Cover. We got to get drinks. we, get the Uber back. We're probably going to have a nice meal, when we're a little bit
Absolutely.
buzzed. And that's the one thing that I couldn't believe.
Well, that's
like, damn, this adds up, man. Having a little bit of fun.
Well, here's the thing. Like, there's obviously, and even within that category, there's two people. There's the people who like, okay, yeah, they want to do all those things, but they're paying it for it themselves. And then there's other people who just like, they had basically, I don't want to sound cliche,
Sure.
but they had daddy's credit card, you know what I mean? And they can just didn't matter. They can work up a bill. Luckily, but the thing is, what do you get from that? For me, I knew that if I wanted to do all those fun things, right, I had to go and get a job. So I got a job. I worked all besides my sophomore year, I worked at the gym down there, right? And I made just enough money to pay my electricity, buy food,
have a little fun,
and have a little bit of fun, right? But the good thing is, I made a point. I knew my parents were already giving up a lot for me just to go to school down there. So I was like, all this stuff that's like extra, I can handle this stuff myself. You know what I mean? And then another thing, all that extra free time. I think a lot of times, people didn't take advantage of a school like that, how big it is. And I mean, I can speak from this because sophomore year, I really was not taking advantage of like a lot of the opportunities that you have. And then it was until my junior year that I kind of found or took the time to find that stuff and then, take advantage of it. But school, I think a lot of times people are just like, the money pays for your tuition and your classes and obviously room and board. There's that side too, but there's plenty of opportunity you could find for yourself if you were just willing to go and look.
For sure, man.
And people didn't take advantage. I mean, a lot of people are down there for, I don't want to say the wrong reasons, but there's plenty of people who are.
A lot of distractions.
I knew people every single year that dropped out, or even each semester to semester. You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
Which I'm like, if I made it through, I don't know how you guys are gonna make it through.
Yeah, right. It's.
But I was not a bad student. I was a pretty good student.
Hey, we passed, right? Got a diploma, right?
I was
C's
pretty,
get degrees, right?
I was pretty. I got one. Yeah, I got one or two. One or two C's for sure. But I mean, I was above that 3. I was well above that 3.
Right. That's all that matters. We walked the stage.
I didn't realize how much of a rarity that was. Like, honestly, I would hear some people with some GPAs that were like, "You got a 2 point what?" And I was like,
"Really?" Yeah, I don't know. Journalism, great coursework at P&W, but it wasn't Harvard. It was. I got a lot of great experience at their broadcasting side.
But like, something like journalism, it's like Now, I don't want to say you either know how to write or you don't. You can definitely refine that skill, but you either want to learn how to write and want to learn how to. That doesn't stop in class, because yes, they're going to give you your assigned readings. These are the look at these writers, blah blah, take this and that, right?
Sure.
But it's like you have to. That's a crap you have to carry on outside of the classroom. You have to be willing to keep on reading those articles and finding those writers and following those stories, right? Versus like, I don't know. You could learn Excel and then just keep it with you.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? I don't want obviously people can get creative with anything, you know what I mean? But I mean, writing, something that's been around since centuries and centuries.
Right.
You got to find different ways to sort of connect with the audience, and that only comes with following what some of the best writers in the past and currently are doing.
No, it was a fun experience. Again, I really wasn't rigorous coursework, but just writing for the paper, sports, or whatever. Or I even wrote, sometimes you get assigned to a story that you got to write about something you may not be comfortable with, and you got to be able to kind of expand. You got to be able to do the dirty work sometimes.
What was the dirty work, Mike? What was the dirty
work? And again, it was interesting stuff. But I remember writing a story. I think it was kind of when Ukraine was going on and everything going on in Ukraine, and we. And it's tough to kind of find a student or an interview, someone that could, relate to that.
Yeah.
Thankfully, one of the, my colleagues, fellow students, whatever the hell, her wife was a vet.
No shit.
So it was like, you also kind of got to learn, you got to kind of tread that fine line of what can you ask a veteran without, because obviously no one really wants to relive that stuff, but what questions you got to ask. Hey, what's going to happen here? What's the domino effect? But teetering that thin line. So there's been some interesting, again, as small as a school like that is Purdue Northwest.
But interesting.
Some good experience, man.
Interesting stories appear from the smallest places.
Yeah, right.
And it's all about how you can shed light on it too, right? Like how can you put it in a context that makes people care? You know what I mean? I mean, you were talking about high school sports earlier and how they seem so minuscule, right? But if you can really you can tell a compelling story of and people can relate to, this student athlete's struggle with, balancing school and whatever, we got family life, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, he's also doing great on the fields. I mean, people will feel a connection to that no matter, like, who it is. I mean, from the NFL all the way down to high school, as long as you get people to care,
right?
It's entertaining,
right? I mean, and in this case, high school athletes, kind of, what I'm doing now. It's people that care are really, the kids, of course, the classmates, but more so the parents, and that's the cool stuff. Seeing your kid pop up in an article, praising what they do at a young age, whether maybe signing on to play ball somewhere or doing, balancing, like you said, some crazy work, school life.
Yeah,
it's cool stuff, man.
Yeah, so
it's cool.
So we were talking about the good side of sports.
I don't like your smirk, man.
Go kids and support the high schoolers, that sort of thing. Why don't we talk about the dark side of sports, Mike?
Okay, hit me.
Why don't we talk about what the spectacle that has become of sports betting in America?
Yeah.
What about that? It's kind of it's almost it's
interesting.
A part of the game now. A part of all games now is the betting aspect. I mean, you see it almost every single commercial.
It's a great question,
right?
yeah.
Right? Do you think it's like? What do you think that adds to the game, in both the best and worst of ways?
First off, speaking from my experience, I'd be lying if I said I didn't partake. So we could start there, but yeah, it's obviously different nowadays. Now, obviously, it's legal damn near everywhere. Betting alone, you don't go to a bookie. You're not my bookie. You're not writing down my bets. Nope. And if I don't pay you back, you're gonna kill me. Yeah. You can do it all right through your phone, which is crazy, and you could bet on virtually anything. But giving it some more thought and seeing the stuff in the NBA with Jonte Porter and throwing games, right? I mean, we heard about that stuff all the way, with the Black Sox in the 1920s World Series, where they're throwing games all the way back then. I mean, it's shit that's been around forever, but now you're seeing it now. I mean, and obviously it's social media and stuff like that, and it's. I don't know. There's stuff that it can get a little grimy and it can get definitely unethical in a way. Well, when players are literally telling, hey guys, Pete Rose he was betting on himself, but when you got a guy in the NBA saying, hey, take my unders tonight, I'm a fake an eye injury. It's like, fuck, man.
Yeah,
what are we doing?
You see that everywhere. You even see it in the UFC now. There was a coach and a fighter that ended up getting in trouble because the coach. Obviously, they have a bunch of different fighters in their camp, and he knew that going into this fight, his fighter had an injured leg, and at the the betting line massively shifted just before the fight was about to start, right? And then obviously Vegas or whoever takes notice of that, and they ended up catching on. Forget what the guy's name is. Mm-hmm. I know the fighter who was within that camp and even bet against his own teammate, right? Because it was their fighter.
That's crazy,
hurt, right? So they made profit off of somebody on their team losing. Jeff Molina was the fighter.
Okay. Can't boxing too? Can't boxers bet? Isn't there some?
Now there was.
I thought I saw something
with Ryan Garcia.
Right, he bet on himself, which I think that's.
I don't know. He said that at a time when he was. That's when he was in his crazy phase, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe he was on steroids. In the moment, I rejected the idea that he beat Devin Haney while he was on steroids, but he lost his last fight.
Right.
He did not look the same at all. He had been off for a year, so...
Right, and that was in Times Square, right, that recent fight?
Yeah, it was not what it was made out to be.
Came out in a Batmobile?
It was not what it was made out to be, yeah. I think to a lot of people, they thought Times Square was going to be flooded, and there was basically going to be a boxing ring around it. I mean...
It was weird.
In hindsight, you think about it, that was probably no way that was going to ever happen, right? But, it basically just got, cut off. And only there's select guests that got to be within the inside.
Interesting.
Of it. Right.
But I don't know, then one thing I don't like is that, everybody has a price. Athletes are going to probably agree to do a commercial, but DraftKings has LeBron as its spokesperson, and it's when it's when you got the most popular player, probably athlete in the world besides, I can maybe name 3-4 guys.
Let's reenact the Kevin Hart LeBron DraftKings commercial right now.
Script. They got a couple. That's the thing too. Is when they got 5.
DraftKings. I have to be Kevin Hart, I guess, huh? You're LeBron.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know.
He goes,
wait, what? I just got an NFL offer.
Oh, that's right.
And then what's the next
Doesn't he
one?
work on like touchdown dances? I think too. LeBron does.
Oh, maybe.
I know. Again, it'll pop up on
what
our.
can't LeBron do though?
That's a good point. You're not going to tell him no,
What
right?
can't LeBron
You
do?
know, but I don't know. Going back to like the original point, yeah, it's a part of the game. But and again, like for people, doing the betting, it's like when you're yelling at the players, "Hey, man, I got whatever on you. I need 3 points." And when you're screaming or DMing the guys, it's like, come on, man.
We've all been there though.
We've thought it.
Not DM. I've never.
I'm not reaching out, sending some. I mean, that's
but
crazy.
I've definitely
work.
done some yelling at the TV before.
Oh, I could, yeah. But when you're there,
when you're there,
and you're sitting in your courtside seats as you're a big time better, and you're hey, come on, give me a rebound.
But I think that's people who haven't played the game before, like sports fans who maybe just.
Fix.
They were never actually like competitors, that sort of thing, right? Mm-hmm. So it's easy for them to be like, do this, do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, and maybe an unintentional benefit of sports betting is like it gives people a reason to watch sports they otherwise would not be watching.
I do agree there.
Right? So, I mean, because I know plenty of people who will bet on like tennis matches or, I don't know.
UFC, dude, I bet.
Yeah.
UFC has to
Yeah, you'll go off whatever I tell you. I'm like, okay. But like, it works vice versa. There's times where I take your guys' MLB bets or, no, not really. I really only.
No, you're only the UFC guy, I'd say, right? But.
No, I mean, yeah, I really only bet on fighting because it's like the only thing I watch consistently. Soccer's hard to bet on because there's ties, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just an unpredictable sport. I mean,
soccer was fun. Getting into the Euros, that was last year, right?
I had a friend who made so much money off of Argentina's World Cup win because they bet during like the knockout rounds. They bet Argentina like +2 goals or +3 goals and Messi to score and Argentina to win every single leg.
Wow!
All the way up, and it happened all 5 times. Like, or whatever, how many knockout rounds there were, right?
And again, I think it's.
What's the best bet you've ever hit?
Oh God, I don't really keep these framed. I don't know. I'm trying to.
What's one that comes to mind? I don't have anything crazy.
I'm hoping to get like a Chicago sports future bet in here soon. One of our teams winning the big one, but one of them I found. I'll say this: one of that I was really proud of is when Purdue was with Zach Edey when they were making their run in the tournament. And this is crazy, but there's a way that you could bet how the first basket of the game is scored. Yeah. So Team A by a 2-pointer, by a 3-pointer, by a free throw, and vice versa with Team B. And what I thought, with Zach Edey being 7'5", 7'6", every game starts with a tip-off, and Edey's probably going to win the tip. Yeah. And Purdue's offense, a lot of the time, ran through Edey. He's freaking huge. So you dump it into Edey, and you go Purdue 2-pointer. And I think in the tournament they played, God, I don't know, 6-ish games, I think. I think it hit 5 times. So
no way.
So that was pretty nice. So other than that, though, my stance on it is, you got to obviously limit yourself. You can't turn into it because it's addictive, right? You see the horror stories of how many people.
That's why I really keep it to like special. I think that's why combat sports are great for me because I really want to save it for the big events too.
Sure.
Right?
So not touching on those fight nights every other Saturday.
No,
right?
unless there's someone I really strongly believe in, right? But like most of the time, it's just like pay-per-view, especially because I know we're all going to be there. It is nice to. That's
been fun, man. UFC's been great, man.
Well, we've been getting our asses whooped past few weeks.
It's going to be a fun summer. We could talk about that as well. The summer's going to be great. In terms of cards, and obviously the big news, Chicago, right? 317. We gotta
find my way there.
Gotta start saving up for that. I think. I think.
Are you down to go? Or what, dude?
I'd jump if everybody else jumps.
I'm jumping.
Right?
I'll be the first one to raise my hand and go.
If it gets to the 4th digit, that's when it's like, God, I don't know about that.
I'm not creeping into 4.
But then again, like my take with like going to sporting events and UFC might be a little bit different, but like I'm kind of this way with like football and basketball. But if you're higher up. I prefer higher up seats than like even kind of in the 200 or like higher. You could really see everything, which is nice. Like football, obviously.
I'm just trying to think of the way the United Center's built.
UC's big too.
It's pretty tall, right? So it's not necessarily wide. It's a tall
Got to think of I guess been to some comedy shows there. I don't know if you've seen a show there, but yeah,
the
got
last
something
thing I
right
was there for was Wild and Out. That's when we got robbed.
Yeah.
got robbed.
That's a story for another time,
Shocker.
right?
Anyways, yeah,
Another
that
day
was
in
the last
paradise,
time I was
man.
there. So but I was plenty.
That was a big ass
Angel
stage.
Reese was there.
Yeah, that's a hot topic.
Jesus, Angel Reese.
WNBA's back. That's a hot topic.
I'm like, you know what? I am all for the drama in the WNBA, though.
Dude.
That being said, have not watched a minute of WNBA still in 5 years, but I know more right now through social media purely than I've ever known.
I watched the game on Saturday. Caitlin Clark. I mean, she's fun to watch, but the drama. It's I just hope this is a league that's finally getting some love, some recognition, and it's this drama that's...
Yeah, it is. You would want them to be talking about the league for other reasons sometimes. It's a slippery slope because it turns into a race thing when I really don't think it should be turning into that. But that being said, the good thing is, it's what do they say? All publicity is good publicity in a way, right? Especially for a league that historically has struggled as much as the WNBA.
Sure.
I mean, they needed... I will say obviously, Caitlin Clark is great. But how great is Batman if there is no Joker, so to speak?
That's a good point.
Right?
That's a good point.
What I mean? It's you can't have a good guy if there's no bad guy.
What's the Spider-Man line that Goblin says?
We're not so different, me and you.
It's there's that. No, there's God, I'd like to see a hero fall, right?
Fail. Die track.
Yeah.
I'm sure Nick knows.
Oh, he definitely was on top of his head, man.
No, but that's
true.
That is true, and I don't.
People like a hero, and again, potentially like to see the villain too.
But then you also have the people who prop up the villain and see if
yeah.
And villain, hero, there's arguments of why can't we all get along? That's great too, right?
I'd like that. Shit.
We know, but we as fans, we know we want a good guy and we want a bad guy. I mean, Messi and Ronaldo. Messi was always made out to be the angel. Ronaldo was more your bad boy, that sort of thing, you know. The Patriots, or even the Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs, prime example. They're the bad guy.
True.
I can hate the Chiefs.
Sure.
I have no connection with them whatsoever, but I cannot stand them because all they do is win, win, win.
Bears, Packers, right? Everybody hates Rodgers, of course. Everybody will always probably hates Rodgers if you're a Bears fan. And, yeah, I guess that's sports for you. Mm-hmm. But interesting times.
The key thing is that at least I know a couple ladies in the WNBA now.
There you go.
And the league is expanding as far as I know, right? And then I think also the Chicago Sky have historically been a pretty decent team.
I think so. Yeah, they won the ship.
Skylar Diggins, right? Is that who they?
They don't have her now. I don't know if they ever did.
That used to be their star girl, right?
Maybe Elena Delle Donne. That was Candace Parker. They won a ship with her.
The thing is, the league is so small that actually I feel a lot of those players end up playing on different teams, right? And I don't know how the market, the sort of what word am I looking for? Free agency and stuff works over there.
That's a good question. I know it's competitive. It's tough to get roster spots. There's so many players and there's 10 teams, 12 teams, right? So compared to 30 for the NBA.
Yeah, but the thing about Caitlin Clark is when that type of player comes around, then the next generation's not too far behind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Think about Steph Curry now. All these kids now, everybody knows they have to know how to shoot.
Pulling up from 30.
There's so much space on the floor now. You cannot afford to not have some sort of jump shot in your game. You know what I mean? I mean that's why I'm fucking nice.
Right, exactly. You need a jumper now, right? Or you're cooked. You're not getting any minutes anywhere, man. Yeah. No, it's
or at least hit a free throw. You got to
right. One way or another.
No, I was not a basketball guy.
No, I was a football player playing basketball.
I was thinking about this earlier though. I was if there's any other sport I could be good at, I'd want it to be basketball.
You'd want it to be basketball?
Yeah, because that's such a transferable. You can play. People play basketball everywhere.
Yeah,
and luckily I chose the most popular one, which is soccer. Because if you find it, you can find people who will play that anywhere really, right? I
feel like baseball would be sick. I got some horror stories about baseball. I don't know. I struck out and we had freaking wiffle ball leagues at PJ's, right? And I was striking out basically. I was auto out pretty much. But dude, to be nice at baseball, just hit home runs every now and then. But basketball, I agree with that too. That's probably up there as well.
And the thing is, I think it's more. I think it's a little cooler. I guess, when you can affect both sides of the game as a player, right?
That's fair.
Right? So, like in baseball, this is me coming from a perspective, I do not know jack about baseball, really, right? But as far as I know, if you're a good hitter, like, there's only so many good hitters that are also pretty good playing defense and that sort of thing. I mean, am I correct in that? That's why Shohei's such a...
Right. And shit, you only got so many opportunities, right? In baseball, right? You know, like, 1 in 9 chance. You're
that's what I'm
getting.
Saying. Like, LeBron can go and ask for the ball anytime he's in the game. You know what I mean? But like Shohei can only, based on the rotation, right?
Maybe 4 or 5 times you'll get to play at the plate.
All right.
So interesting. Yeah, you know baseball. We've been to a game or two.
Yeah, I think like in order of my sports knowledge ranked, I think it really probably goes like soccer.
Taking soccer over UFC right now, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about just purely knowing the game itself. Yeah, soccer for sure. And then I guess too would be like boxing, but like really when I think about it, I don't know jack about it. Like in terms of like the fine aspects, maybe like I know a lot about UFC, right? But I don't know how to fight, right? So actually, maybe basketball might be too, because it's like at least I played a little bit.
The thing about like some of those like team sports, they kind of have some of the what?
I played. You saw me play tennis.
Oh
over the summer.
Yeah, we played tennis. Oh, that
wasn't too bad.
No, you were solid, man. You were carrying my ass sometimes. I know, but no, it's some of those team sports. They kind of have like the same tactics and goals. Spacing's obviously big in soccer.
Yeah, I see it a lot when
basketball.
When I see hockey, actually. Hockey, a lot of that movement is similar to soccer movement.
Right?
Yeah,
same sort of,
give and go,
building up an offense, right?
The shots,
exactly.
That sort of thing. Yeah. It's transferable for sure.
For sure.
Like, what I think is cool, like, I remember last year when the Celtics were making their run, like, who's their coach, Joe Mazzulla?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? And he had a really good relationship with Manchester City's coach, Pep Guardiola, and he was going out to the games, and he was talking about how they would kind of, like, exchange tactics.
That's
like,
interesting.
Talking about spacing and that sort of thing, which I guess, like, when you get down to it, I mean... Obviously, soccer's 11v11, basketball's 5v5, but if you can kind of scale it down,
right?
And if you think about it, once you're on this half, you have your penalty box or, basically the paint, right? And then, outside the box, outside the arc, that sort of thing.
It's interesting.
And it's like, how can you can use the outside, you can come from the, you can dump it down, you can go long ball, you can play quick, you can play slow, that sort of thing. It's transferable to a certain extent, right? But you have to have that sort of higher level, or not higher level, I guess that deep level of knowledge in order to...
Student of the game, right? One sport we got to bring back here that ties us together is spike ball. I forgot about that when we talked about our friendship coming up. My favorite spike ball partner is your sister, who vouched for me to get on this thing.
Yes, she did. I almost want to like give her a call or something just to tell her.
Dude, right? Give her a FaceTime or something.
Should we?
Get her, yeah,
we have to.
She'll be stoked. Where's she at?
She's probably at home. What is my mom?
Oh, that's right. She does. That's right. You're flying solo. That's right. See, what are the odds she answers you?
She will. Let's see.
Oh, damn.
No way she doesn't answer.
She's missing out, man.
She is. She might be laying down. She's supposed to be here like 5 a.m.
Oh, she's coming in training? Yeah. What's up, girl? It's my big break, man. You got me on. Dude.
Oh, we wanted to see you live on camera.
Come on now.
Live on camera. You're live on the show right now. You're live on the. You're live on the show.
Turn around. There we go.
Yeah. I get the audience. Look at the audience.
Yeah, there you go.
You're live on the show.
There you go.
You have one question to ask Mike. It can be anything you want.
Oh, take it easy on me. I just talked about our spike ball experience. How we were a dynamic duo, right?
Legends, she says.
Yes. We need to get back out there.
That's what I'm saying, man. Get the net back out once you get the shut up.
Hey, man, we're close. We were fucking up the yard, though. You got one question. Let's hurry up. You're on the clock.
Jeez, okay, hold on. That's so hard. Okay. One question for Mike.
I know.
This is your...
Mike. Let's see. Where do you see yourself?
Oh God.
In In 5 years, where do you see?
Gun to the head.
Jesus Christ.
Hang up.
Hang up. Bye.
Bye, Lisette. That's a great question. 5 years, man. Oh, God. This is kind of something that's fresh on the mind. Now we can eventually talk about, how quickly things are moving. But, it's in kind of like my line of work again. It's something that's more for the, enjoyment. The pay may not always be there, and you may not be breaking the bank, but I'm hoping to keep what I'm doing. Definitely not the same. I'd say this is a stepping stone for sure. You talked about where I'd like to be geographically. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind sticking around maybe Northwest Indiana. Obviously, hopefully well off. Just find somebody, right? Get that train rolling. But Chicago, of course, obviously in our backyard as well. But I'm kind of open to whatever. But I want to stay and kind of be in the sports media field in a way. No matter what the hell the sport is, no matter what role, I'm still trying to figure out what the hell I want to do role wise. I'm trying to wear as many hats as possible.
That's the good thing about your experience, right? Is because you got to get placed in a lot of different positions within the sports media space.
Yeah.
So, you're pretty well versed. Having stuck around the same place with a small staff, right? Yeah,
it's it's a small business, and it's, sometimes you got to kind of, suck it up and wear a hat or two for a day to kind of get the job done. But, I'm hoping that
that's
kind of, for sure, I'd say so, propels me for the future. But, I'd never say never in terms of where the hell you're going to be. Obviously, it's nice to be here, but I'm hoping to at least, kind of get things rolling. But 5 years from now, we'll be 28, 27 years old, so we don't want to think about that now. But time's moving fast, man.
That's 5 years from now?
Before you know it, man.
Yeah, Jesus, that's one COVID from now? One COVID spell?
Yeah, shit, man. We lapped that once again. We're
quick.
There, but
that was quick.
Now we got buddies buying houses now, man. Oh my
Jesus.
God.
Yeah,
breaking news,
that
right?
That got dropped on us. One of our good friends. I won't disclose for his own safety, right?
Sure. Yeah. We'll be all right.
Right.
We'll be all right.
I'll be fine, right? But anyways, it was weird. He's the old head of the
He's kind of the dad, I could say, in a way. The big brother. We could
like 2 years.
1.5 years. He's 2 grades above us, but to see that, obviously him and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Super
sick.
Cool. And he worked his ass off for it. But then you and I kind of like, oh wow,
that was the banger.
That was an atom bomb dropped on us, and it's like, all right, let's lock in, man. Let's get ready. But it moves quick, and
we said what? First steps, what, Mike? What did I tell you?
I know this might be an audition if anyone's watching out there. Ready to mingle. We're ready to mingle. Anyone's watching. I know. Yeah, they got to cross that off first, and then you said that. Hopefully, everything kind of falls in line. But
it's like
my philosophy right now, the next one needs to be the right one. The next one needs to be it.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I'm at that sort of point too, right? It's like I've waited this long. I might as well wait for the one that I'm really sure of.
It's scary. It's not scary, but it's a big choice, man. It's
Shit, who you telling me, man, dude? Like, especially with all these sisters are like piranhas. Like they freaking. No, I can't blame it on them entirely. But it's like
right?
You do think about that. I'm like, okay, like who is someone I actually want to bring to my entire family, but also that being just girls, a lot of girls, and then my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
You're bringing them home to the wolves, man.
Yeah,
that ain't no joke.
I'm the only son, and it's not like I bring a lot of them around. So it's like whenever ones they do, they stick out.
No kidding. Crazy, man.
We've done our time though, our single time.
We have.
When was your last go around?
Oh man, God, time flies when you're having fun, right? I'm kidding. God, yeah, probably 2 or 3-ish years ago. And again, something like that where, again, things are great, of course, but if things don't go right, there's X amount of years where, not down the drain, but you may miss out on some stuff, and it's, again, time's always ticking. Mm-hmm. So it's like, hopefully the next one is, bullseye.
Yeah. I will say, though, Lisette called back, and she says that she has an important question.
Oh, no.
We'll call her one time real quick. She has to answer.
She had one pop in her head?
I guess so. We'll see real quick if she has an answer right now. She does not get it off. But yeah, I guess
She's definitely got a banger too.
you got. What is your question?
Oh, Lisette.
You got one.
You got a banger, don't you?
What's your question?